Okay, this is in the jungle at Cuerici. This is a upper montane wet forest, tropical wet forest, and this is just going to give you an idea of what it's like to be out here. It's really cloudy. I mean, we're in the clouds, so it's cloudy all the time. But if you just look around, you get an idea of the landscape here. It's really steep, lots of moss, a lot of bamboo. This is actually an oak forest that I'm standing in right now, and I'm holding an epiphytic plant, Bromeliaceae, little bromeliad here that I found lying on the ground. Let's see, what else can I tell you? I mean, just take a look around. It's really thick, really dense around here. You look up in the trees, as I was mentioning earlier, there's a lot of hanging moss up there. It's kind of hard to see with the glare, but let me just walk down here and we'll just take a look at the moss from the trees so you can see. You can't make it out that well, but all the hanging brush from these trees, it's just epiphytic moss, and it's everywhere. And apparently this is the same moss that is used for commercial use in nativity and manger scenes. So the stuff that kind of they throw in there for padding and grass. So yeah. And I'm just going to kind of walk here with the camera, and you can hear the birds calling and just various other noises, and take a look at the vegetation. Coming up on a small creek here. This is kind of the bend in this ravine. So here you have the right side of the ravine and then the left side of the ravine, and there's kind of a canyon in the middle here. And I'm gonna show you a landslide, well, the area where a landslide took place like 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I don't know. I can't recall it right now, but we'll see that in a second. And this area is primary forest, and it's owned by a gentleman, a farmer named Don Carlos, who owns this whole area, Cuerici Reserve, and he practices sustainable farming and agriculture here on the farm. He has a sustainable trout farm, and he uses the water that's pumped through the trout farm to generate electricity with the hydroelectric pump that's at the bottom of his property. And he uses, that energy and electricity, to heat things in his house and run the lights. And this is one of a few fincas, or farms, that he owns here in this area. And he's the only one that operates with these conservation and sustainable ecosystem practices in this area. And he does this by himself. It's completely private. And doesn't really receive much help from government organizations, but I think that's because he is private, so that's I guess one of the setbacks. I mean, if you're gonna own your own land and maintain your own property, you can't necessarily expect the government to step in every time you ask them for some type of assistance. And you see these right here. These are bamboo, smaller versions from what we saw at Las Cruces near San Vito, but still is bamboo. And let's see. Bird just flew by. I don't think we're going to be able to see it though. I did see a quetzal the other day, actually right in front of the farmhouse. Quetzal is the really pretty bird. The ones here are dark black with kind of a yellow, green, red on the underside, and the male quetzal has long tail feathers, which is a great example of sexual dimorphism between male and female. The male maintains these long tail feathers, which basically do nothing for the male other than the only reason he uses that is during mating. Females judge males based on the amount and length of their tail feathers, and so the bigger the tail feathers, the better genetically fit a male is. And so that's how females make the choice. And so that male is actually chasing another female and just flew right across the front yard there. So, don't know how much battery life I have left, but hopefully we'll be able to get to see the spot where the landslide took place. It should be coming up soon. Actually, yeah, as you can see the clearing now right in front of us. So this is basically the end of the upper edge of where this landslide is. So you see a lot more light coming through, and you can actually see down there. That's Tony and Diana, and I don't know if the camera caught it, but a small hummingbird just buzzed right in front of us. We'll check it out later, but I mean, you can obviously see the huge gap in the canopy here and the difference in the undergrowth. It's a bunch of shrubbery, not a lot of primary or secondary tree growth here. So apparently what happened is a hurricane came in from the Pacific, and just the winds came from a completely different direction than what anybody had ever seen around here, anybody had ever experienced. And the way the winds came in, it into this canyon and ravine area, it almost formed like a tornado, and it just tore everything up, and so tore the trees out and just kind of created this huge landslide. And you can see it goes all the way down here from up above where I just showed you, and kind of just leveled, well, not leveled, but leveled in the sense of cleared out the vegetation in this area. I mean, you still have an extremely steep grade running down here, and actually down there, I don't know if you can see right in the middle, that is a tree fern that apparently survived the landslide. And I think, if I remember correctly, that is 100 years old, 100 to 200 years old. So that's a lot of growth. And some of the oaks in this forest are 1,000 to 2,000 years old. So it's a lot of growth. Some pretty interesting stuff, huh? That's about it for me.